The building was silent except for the hum of distant elevators, the midday sun flooding through the glass panels of the 42nd floor. And in that light, Raymond Reeves froze, his mop dripping onto the polished marble, as the woman he least expected to see vulnerable lifted her tear-streaked face. Cassandra Hayes, invincible, unreadable, feared, snapped her gaze toward him with the force of a blade. In the kind of voice that could shred a soul, she warned him, "Look at me again, and you're fired." The words echoed through the empty boardroom like a verdict he didn't deserve, and for a moment, Raymond wondered how compassion could be punished so cruelly, until he learned the truth behind her tears. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of humanity, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Bright Hearts to support more inspiring stories like this. Raymond Reeves never belonged to this world of chrome, glass, and high-power decisions. By day, he delivered food to earn extra income. By night, he pushed cleaning carts through the towering walls of Technova, a company that innovated faster than most people could breathe. At 35, he carried more weight in his heart than on his shoulders. After losing his wife Anna in a sudden car accident, he became both father and mother to his 8-year-old daughter, Iris, an imaginative, bright girl whose laughter was the only thing keeping him steady. He worked 2 jobs, slept little, and sacrificed everything so she wouldn't feel the void he lived with every day. The day he stumbled upon Cassandra Hayes crying was supposed to be routine. He was assigned to clean the boardroom after an early executive meeting. The sunlight poured in through the floor-to-ceiling windows, making the city glow. He pushed his cart in with tired arms, expecting emptiness. Instead, he found the CEO of the entire corporation, her usually immaculate posture collapsing inward, her hands gripping the table like the world was trying to rip her apart. Her blonde hair, normally flawless, hid most of her face. The same woman who commanded boardrooms with iron certainty now looked like a fragile soul on the edge of breaking. Raymond didn't mean to intrude. His instinct to turn away came too late. His eyes had already met hers. And in that microsecond, something flickered between them. Fear, pain, recognition, or something that neither could understand. Her reaction was immediate. She shielded her vulnerability the only way she knew how. With coldness, with sharpness, with a wall that could keep the whole world out. "Look at me again, and you're fired." He apologized quietly, bowed his head, and left, but that moment clung to him the entire day. Cassandra Hayes was known across the company as a perfectionist, intimidating yet brilliant. She took the CEO position at just 31, rewriting business strategies and turning Technova into a global force. To most, her life looked like an empire. To Raymond, she looked like someone who had forgotten what softness felt like. But life has a way of crossing paths again. The next day, Cassandra called for a meeting with building maintenance. Raymond feared she had singled him out to terminate his employment. He couldn't afford to lose this job, not with rent due, school fees approaching, and Iris needing new shoes she had pretended she didn't grow out of. But when he walked into the conference room, Cassandra didn't even look at him. She kept her gaze fixed on her tablet, her expression distant. She simply dismissed the meeting after discussing a minor facility issue, never mentioning the incident from the day before. It was as if she was trying to erase the memory from existence. But memories don't erase that easily, not when something inside them begins to shift. Over the next week, Raymond noticed something strange. Cassandra passed by the halls more often than usual, and each time, though she didn't speak to him, she slowed for a fraction of a second, as if her mind tugged between distance and acknowledgement, as if something inside her remembered the vulnerability she had shown him. Raymond kept his head down, but he felt her eyes linger longer than they should. One Friday afternoon, as sunlight filtered through the atrium, Iris arrived at the office because her school closed early. She sat quietly in a corner reading her favorite book as Raymond finished his shift. Employees passed without noticing her, except one. Cassandra. She approached with the same indifferent posture as always, but when she saw the girl's curled-up figure and the way she hugged her books, something softened in her expression. She didn't crouch down. Cassandra never did anything that felt gentle, but she asked, almost cautiously, who she was waiting for. When Raymond walked over, he expected irritation, a reprimand for bringing his child into a corporate environment. Instead, Cassandra simply nodded, a restrained look on her face, and walked away. But from that day onward, She never passed Iris without acknowledging her presence. IT was a slow, quiet shift. A CEO beginning to see a janitor. A powerful woman beginning to see a struggling father. A guarded heart beginning to see someone who had no agenda, no expectations, no desire to hurt her. And then everything changed on Christmas Eve. The building was nearly empty. Snowflakes drifted outside like soft, glowing embers against the deep blue daylight. Raymond couldn't take the night off. He needed the holiday pay. Iris sat near the lobby with her tiny thermos of cocoa, sketching pictures of her mother's face from memory. Cassandra arrived unexpectedly. She walked in wearing a long cream coat, elegance wrapped around her like armor. But when she noticed the little girl sitting alone, she hesitated. Something cracked behind Cassandra's composed eyes. She remembered being a child left alone in offices while her parents worked endlessly. She remembered loneliness as vividly as breath. She approached quietly, asked if they'd had dinner yet, and when Raymond admitted they hadn't, she did something no one in that building would believe. She invited them to share her table in the executive dining room. The scene felt surreal. Under warm golden lights, decorated with holiday garlands, Cassandra sat with Raymond and Iris at a small round table meant for top executives during private meetings. She didn't give orders. She didn't hide behind her cold demeanor. She listened. She asked questions. She ate with them like she wasn't the most feared CEO in the entire building. As Iris spoke about her dreams of becoming a robotics engineer, Cassandra's expression shifted from polite interest to genuine admiration. The little girl's energy filled the room in a way that melted the edges of Cassandra's guarded presence. And then Iris asked the question that changed everything. "Why were you crying the other day?" Raymond nearly dropped his fork. Cassandra froze. But instead of lashing out, she inhaled shakily, and for the first time, she told someone the truth. She had been fighting a legal battle to keep Technova from falling into the hands of a corrupt shareholder group trying to force her out. She was exhausted, alone, crushed under mountains of responsibility. She hid her pain because any sign of weakness would be used against her. Raymond listened quietly, not as an employee, but as a human being who understood loss, pressure, and the unbearable weight of carrying everything alone. He didn't offer solutions or pity, only understanding. And that was something Cassandra had needed for a very long time. In that moment, a connection formed, fragile but real. A CEO who had forgotten how to trust began to lean on someone she never thought would matter. A janitor who believed he was invisible finally felt seen. Over the next few weeks, Cassandra began inviting Raymond to private discussions about ideas to improve employee morale and company culture. She valued his honesty, his humility, his lived experience. She saw something in him she had lost in herself, humanity. When she promoted him to a new role in employee development, the entire office was stunned. But Cassandra didn't care. For the first time, she wasn't listening to fear. What she didn't expect was how much she would come to care about Raymond and Iris. Their quiet dinners, the laughter Iris brought into her cold penthouse during planning sessions, the warmth she felt around them. It all began to stitch together a heart she thought was broken permanently. But life always tests what it tries to heal. One afternoon, Raymond was summoned urgently to the top floor. Rumors swirled that Cassandra faced internal sabotage from executives who resented her reforms. When he entered, he found Cassandra seated alone, her expression shaken. The board was trying to force her to resign. She felt betrayed, cornered. But when she looked into Raymond's eyes, she didn't see an employee. She saw an anchor that he told her she wasn't alone anymore, that she didn't have to fight everything by herself. Something in her broke open, not in weakness, but in surrender to trust, to hope, to connection. The truth came out during the emergency board meeting when Raymond courageously testified about her leadership, integrity, and the changes she had made to uplift even the lowest level employees. His words swayed opinions. The board voted in her favor. Cassandra kept her position. Raymond kept his. But more importantly, both kept something they never expected to find. Each other. By springtime, the office saw a new Cassandra Hayes. Warmer, accessible, human. And beside her, often helping with new initiatives, was Raymond Reeves, the janitor who once feared looking at her, now shaping the company alongside her.